WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I got to say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary.
Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB. Online, WBCB1490.com. Do I have a mic that's going here?
Try that.
How about that? No, that's not working either.
Try that.
We're trying all kinds of things here. Getting the microphones, attempting to...
Go ahead.
All right. We got nothing here.
Maybe the mic's
Lucas,
bad.
say something. Say something stupid.
Hi, this is Lucas DeSangre broadcasting for Pro Wrestling Weekly. Like
Okay, we got
said,
Lucas.
The bell is off, and we are ready for a great show tonight. If you guys have seen Monday Night Raw, it was an absolute showdown.
Give it a rep.
Let's see here. Wow, something's apparently up with my microphone.
We're having some We're having some technical
difficulties.
I'm sorry, folks.
Difficulties to start the show. Unbelievable. Yeah, move over, kid. I'm taking your microphone. At least for now. We'll figure things out in a little bit here.
A microphone from an intern, new saying.
Taking a microphone from an intern. That's all kinds of stuff to figure out here. Sharesies?
Sharesies.
There we go. Yeah, sharing is caring. Or something like that.
Okay.
This is Pro Wrestling Weekly. Fearon Derry here alongside
Denny.
Lucas the Intern.
Denny's
Nick
here.
Cataldi. Denny.
Hey.
Denny's back in. He heard that we had microphone problems, and he's coming right on in.
Try it now.
Hey, there we go. Oh, my
voice.
goodness.
Oh, I tried to get rid of him too, Den. You gotta go.
Tried to get rid of me?
Yeah. Thanks, Den.
Don't worry, Fearon.
Sabotaging the show.
That's why you
guys.
guys a little bit of sabotage.
Don't worry, I'll protect you because I need this job.
You smoke.
Oh, there we go. Pat.
Is that a cigarette in your mouth?
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
It looks like a cigarette.
It's a candy stick. You want to feel? It's a
No,
candy
I don't want
stick.
to feel.
It's a candy stick.
He's
See?
smoking on the air.
It's
What?
a candy stick.
What in the blue hell is going on over here? This is insanity. This is madness.
He started it.
Can't take you guys anywhere.
We were here. We're not going anywhere.
I know, kind of like this segment. Let's go ahead and fix that. My God. See, technical difficulty, you never know what's going to happen. It gets me all kinds of thrown off and flustered
It
here.
was kind of my fault.
Did you guys see the ending?
I missed my cue to start the show. But then again, you didn't exactly yell. You just come around my back and, push buttons.
Did you guys see it? Monday Night Raw? Anybody? It was a great show. Really was.
Why are you bringing up wrestling anyway?
Because it's a wrestling talk show. Somebody has to.
Dope I
Vince
am.
McMahon barely does. He's definitely not going to this Monday, that's for sure, because
Right.
it's the Slammies. The Slammy Awards. We'll talk about that at length coming up. But one thing that WWE did do on Raw was they pushed a bunch of matches for the TLC pay-per-view coming up for a week from tomorrow. In fact, they added a whopping 4 matches to the card this past Monday, and we've got that whole lineup for you. Let me give that to you right now. Of course, you know about the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Championship being unified in a TLC match, John Cena against Randy Orton. We talked about that last week. We've got a little more audio coming up in a little bit about that. And 4 other matches added to the card. You've got the Divas Championship on the line, AJ Lee defending against Natalya. That Divas title.
I feel, okay, look,
Here, let's go to our resident expert on the Divas, intern Lucas DeSangre.
Oh, that's funny, Fearon. Okay, look, I am a big fan of AJ Lee. Fearon knows that. But the thing is, I feel like Natalya...
The world knows that.
Okay, look, Natalya's going to win. I feel like she's worked her butt off. She's a great wrestler, especially because her dad is Jim the Anvil Neidhart. All of you know that. I'm just stating it. I feel like she's going to win. She's got enough talent. She's got aggression. And I feel like AJ Lee's just getting lazy. That whole skipping around the ring stunt
is kind of over and done with.
You got...
All right, duly noted.
She's been pinned in all 3 tag team matches with the Total Divas, True Divas Part 2, and then Summer Rae, AJ Lee, and Tamina versus the Bella Twins, and I think it was Natalya, was it?
They're interchangeable at this point, honestly, at least in my opinion.
And the funny thing is, who the heck made Summer Rae a diva? Who's the genius behind that? She is not plausible. She really shouldn't be a diva.
Well, you could say that about a lot of divas over the years. The other matches, you got Big E Langston defending the Intercontinental title against Damian Sandow, who won a match against Dolph Ziggler, and thankfully there was no gimmick involved with it, as there have been various locational things over the last few weeks.
You're welcome.
Very much so. And then, this is a bit of a head-scratcher, a pair of 3-on-1 handicap matches set for TLC. Daniel Bryan against all 3 members of the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan. And CM Punk taking on all 3 members of the Shield, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. I don't know. Does this mean that TLC is going to get replaced with, I don't know, Holiday Handicap or some other awful name that WWE could come up with?
December to Dismember, we could bring that back, just not DC.
No, let's not.
Anyway, but
that was ECW. Vince doesn't want anything to do with ECW. He wants that to remain dead and buried.
You know what I've noticed, though? There's been a lot of handicap matches lately. Are they trying to, kill their superstars?
Quite possibly.
I really think... But I liked what CM Punk brought to the table with the whole reaction. He said, I'm definitely going down, but how many of the Shield am I taking with me? And that sent chills down my spine, because the gears are starting to turn in his head. He's going to bring something to the table.
It is certainly interesting. And then, of course, we go back to the title unification match. They're trying to make a big deal out of it, and they did so in a pretty traditional way on Raw. They had the contract signing at the end of Raw, and we've got that for you right here.
Well, now that the formalities are out of the way, gentlemen, you both have an opportunity to speak about this historic, once-in-a-lifetime matchup. Randy, the floor is yours.
Well, Hunter, you're right. Some of the very absolute biggest names in this industry have held these titles. No matter how great these former champions are, the fact is, and you're not going to want to hear this, but I'm better than all of them, including you. But that's why you chose me. That's why you chose me to be the face of the WWE. And besides, you and I have something in common, as well as the vast majority of all these people. We don't like John Cena very much, do we? You know I'm the only one capable to take him down, shut him up, put him out of his misery, to beat him. And that's what I'm going to do in 2 weeks at TLC. I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to walk out with both titles in my hand.
Oh, yeah. You're talking like we've never even met before. We've had tons of matches. Allow me to introduce myself, John Cena, World Heavyweight Champion.
I know damn well who you are. Shut up. Come on, John. Come on, John. We have history, remember? I kicked your father in the head a couple years ago. And since then, I've been making a hell of a career for myself, destroying the hopes and dreams of others and turning them into nightmares, which is exactly what I'm going to do to you at TLC. There's a reason they call me the Apex Predator. Despite all your accomplishments, all your achievements, the only reason you were put on God's green earth was to lose the biggest match.
Would you just shut up? Honestly, these people are tired and you sound ridiculous. I turn dreams into nightmares. Where the hell did you get that one? A fortune cookie? The only dream you have ever turned into a nightmare is Triple H's. Because 10 years ago, he chose you to teach you how to be a success in the WWE. And what did you do about it? You never lived up to your potential. Ever. No. I don't fault him. He chose you because he saw what we all saw. You are the most gifted WWE superstar ever. You make every single thing in this ring look easy. But with that, you got cocky. And you got a bad attitude to boot. And then you got lazy. You were the youngest WWE champion in history. This man gave you Hall of Fame mentors to learn from. And what did you do? Kick back, relax, and let some scrappy kid in a t-shirt and a ball cap ruin his dream. I am not you, Randy Orton. I am John Cena. I have never been asked to be called the face of anything. I'm just the first to show up and the last to leave, and that's the way it is, Jack. But you sit over there steaming mad, thinking you should be given opportunity because of your family legacy, or thinking that you should be given opportunity because of your talent. Why don't you think in one hand and crap in the other and see which one fills up first? Let's cut to the chase. You were given that. I earned this. And in 2 weeks, we got a historic match at TLC, and if you get anything from me, you will earn it. I am not an apex predator. I'm just John Cena. But right now, you're pushing John Cena's buttons. So I'm going to give you two options at this point. You can leave, or you can make a move. But I want you to listen to me real close, because if you so much as make one single move to me right here, right now, this audience will be reminded of what a TLC match really is. If you so much as make a move right now, I will bend the steel chair over your back. You will get real close and personal with a ladder, and in front of all these people in the Word watching, by God, I will put you through a tape. So, Randall, you going to step up, or you going to step aside?
And step Orton did. Yes, he did. And that ended up leading to a Donnybrook that went all around the ring, including uses of ladders by both men and chairs by both men, and Orton getting put through a table, and Cena standing tall with both belts in hand.
He got put through a table twice. One was pushed in, and one was an AA. And I got to tell you, folks, this was probably... Yeah, I said folks. This is probably one of the best promos that Raw's put out in a while. I think since CM Punk, Paul Heyman, that whole, Heyman explanation. This blend of emotion that they put into this.
I'm intrigued by it because you said a very operative word, emotion. That's when wrestling is good, is when you have emotion put into a story, when you're not trying to be cutesy, you're not trying to throw little jokes in there, although Cena still managed to find a way to put a poop joke in the middle of that promo.
I feel like
I'm sure Vince was smiling about that in the back.
I feel like though, with Cena, he's one of the best mic talkers in the business. He can turn a crappy matchup into a match of the year candidate. He really can. I'm saying, and it's all about the talking. He puts raw emotion. You see the promos they cut when he returned, that whole slideshow of him, his legacy of the career, that made me want to be a wrestler. Because, you look at him and you look at people and you say, I want that. I want to see that, and I want to do that in the ring.
I'm sure most of the ladies in the audience would agree.
Okay, I'm trying to sound serious here. Come on, dude. Come on, man.
Hey, there are a lot of women who want to be women's wrestlers. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm going along with your point.
Yeah. All right.
By all means, continue.
It's like you look at Cena with the raw emotion he puts into these promos. That title was given to you. I earned this. It's like the whole time I had Brooklyn We Go Hard ringing in my head when he was talking that whole time. It's just like he makes it believable, even if it's not a real fight. He makes the talking believable. He makes it look like these two guys genuinely want to fight.
And it's good when he's serious, and this is one of those times when he's serious and when he's on. You're right, there are a few better. The problem is lately he's usually cutting down his opponents, making cutesy jokes, but you're right, when he's serious, he's getting the job done. All right, let's take care of some business. We've got Dan and George hanging on the line. We'll get to you right on the other side of the break, and we've got a ton to talk about still. The Slammy Awards we've got to get into. We've got news and notes, a litany of stuff still to do here. We're in December. It's crazy. I'm still letting that soak in. It's too cold, that's for one thing. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Tag team elimination matches, food fights, and turkey suits must be Thanksgiving in professional wrestling.
It has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Gobble, gobble.
And unfortunately, you can add vomit to the list. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, finally with a working microphone, alongside Lucas the Intern, Nick Cataldi.
Yay!
There's that guy again. His one fan, the president of his fan club.
Thanks, Dad.
You've got one heckler.
It's like Cy Sperling in the Hair Club for Men. He's not only the president of his fan club, he's also a client. Remember that from back in the day?
Yes, I do, and I don't need the Hair Club for Men.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you got your hair going about halfway down your back there. I would hope you don't.
Right. Of course, you can have long hair and be bald-headed on the top.
This is true. Ask Paul Heyman.
Yeah, right.
He's very familiar with that. All right, let's go to the phones. Dan from Chicago has been waiting ever so patiently, finally wading his way through the extensive tweets regarding one Canadian Voldemort who has garnered a lot of attention in both positive and negative. Dan, what's going on?
What's going on? All right, you know what? I know what I put was kind of like maybe idiotic, but here's my other rebuttal from this. Then why in this 20-year DVD that I purchased it on WWE.com, why is Chris Benoit in this DVD? And I get ridiculed for the game. Chris Benoit's in the DVD.
Which one? The 20 years of Raw?
Yeah, 20 years of Raw episodes that are uncut, whatever. He's in the DVD.
My guess, and I mean, really the only person who would be able to answer that with the truth would be Vince McMahon, since he's the one green-lighting these decisions, is I think, like a lot of things, it's simply a matter of time. And I mean,
that's what my thing was about the video game. You know what I mean? That was my.
All right, for those of you who missed it, let me catch people up here. What was this? About 3-4 weeks ago now, you had sent a tweet to Jim Ross inquiring why Chris Benoit wasn't in the WWE 2K14 video game.
Right,
and
I could have maybe done it a little, worded it a little differently, but go ahead.
There is that too, but again, it's Twitter, so you only have 140 characters to be able to present your point. So I mean, there is that, and you figure that 9 of them was at JR's barbecue, so already you're down to 131 before right off the bat. But to I guess JR's credit, he did respond, but he responded with "really," and then that went out to his 962,000 followers, who then felt the need to chime in one way or the other.
Oh man,
myself included. But I was bringing facts because that's what I do as a broadcast journalist. And you had some good rebuttals. You're absolutely right. Now the fact that they're starting to release more of his items as far as the DVDs. Initially, I thought it was a WCW only thing, but now they're releasing stuff of his in WWE. I mean, could we be far away from it? I don't know. I mean, I guess they still have his movesets in the game. Maybe they just, I guess, to rush the game out, they decided to opt against it. Although you're right, that particular match was certainly notable. Like I said, I think it's a matter of time. I think if this game was released 2 years down the road, then yes, that Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit match from WrestleMania 20 would be in there. But I think it's just right place, wrong time. They just didn't release it.
If anything,
my thought was, not to interrupt, my thought was you could do what they have been doing and have them in the video game, but not if you want to play them, or you could do Shawn Michaels or Triple H, and it's your choice to play him, and the announcers don't have to say who this guy is, like they've been doing in other DVDs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would you have Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg in that WrestleMania when that match was garbage? You know what I mean? That's all.
It was, but I mean, you're looking at name value. That's pretty much what it is. I mean,
you can't have Kurt Angle in a WWE video game when he's in TNA.
Yeah, for contractual reasons, they obviously couldn't have certain people, so they went in a different direction. And you look at the lineup from WrestleMania 20. I mean, it was a 5-hour card, so you certainly had quite a bit to choose from, but different restrictions kept you from putting certain.
Exactly.
I feel like
so they were kind of shoehorned into. All right, well, we can't use Benoit at this point. All right, we've already got the WWE Championship in there.
How many years has it been since the whole incident with him?
It's been about 6.5 years. It was June of 2007 that all went down.
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, I understand he's like that. I understand you can't say his name, but at the same time, you can't shield anybody from it forever. Sooner or later, his name's going to come up. Like, if anything, you should have maybe just done to sort of take him away the first Money in the Bank match, where it's like, we've got so many people, you don't really have to pay attention to Chris Benoit.
Yeah, but I guess that wasn't exactly an icon. I mean, they're looking for certain, mostly one-on-one or triple
Bank match, though. It's like, we've got a whole pay-per-view dedicated to it now.
Yeah, and I guess it does have its place in history. There's so much that can go on with this topic. I know and that's probably why you had however many tweets coming to you from all those followers from JR.
It was crazy. Like, half the people some of them were on my side, and some of the people were just only doing. I'm sure in the back of their mind they were thinking the same thing, but they were trying to be cool because Jim Ross put really the way he did it. And some people are like, well, why don't you explain yourself, Ross? And somebody actually tweeted me, that we missed him and the cover of him on the game. So that, people knew where I was coming from, and other people are being, kind of smush about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, ultimately, I mean, I'll cite an example or two in a second. Ultimately, it's a matter of the powers that be.
Yeah.
It's the powers that be deciding to make that change, and the probably one of the better examples. I mean, people have been saying for years to bring Pete Rose into the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I mean that's been going on for how many years now? Over 20 or almost 25 years, I think now. It was 88, 89, somewhere in there was when Pete Rose was suspended for betting on baseball. And there are people on both sides of the coin. Some people follow the letter of the law and say, you know what, you bet on baseball, you're banned for life, that's it. And then others saying, you know what, he was the hit king, he should be an ambassador to the game. Charlie Hustle, he means so much. Obviously, Philly fans are, he's part of that 1980 World Series team, so there's obviously a lot of love for him here. So there are people on both sides of the coin in that regard.
And you get O.J. Simpson in the NFL, he's banned from the NFL as well.
Yeah, well, OJ's a whole. We're not even going to go there.
We're not talking about the juice right now.
No, that's whether it be the player or the steroids.
What did he do?
What are you, Peter Griffin?
You could go the same way as what did Chris Benoit do. He was really.
Anybody get that reference?
He was
please.
Really never convicted of it. You know what I mean? He could be tried for it. They've done that before, where they've. Done a trial for the dead. You know what I mean? And
true.
Really did
Plus, I mean, with football players, I mean, they're. I mean, you look at football players today, especially, they're always acting the fool, and they're still loved and revered.
What about Ray Lewis? Like, I understand the whole thing with that. We're getting to a different topic.
Yeah, we are. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, why don't we?
This is definitely one of those let's dump out of this before I get into more trouble type deals.
Right. Okay, I got a question about Impact Wrestling. Okay, what are they thinking here? I'm really confused. All these spoilers are out. I mean, I understand that they have to tape stuff, but are they trying? I guess certain people are leaving the company. 2 people are supposedly leaving. Should I even bother watching this garbage when you already have stuff done till January 9th already, and I'm sure more tapings are going to be coming. I get they're trying to be good with the holidays, maybe with the guys, but I understand about, the holidays are coming. Maybe Dixie's like, all right, we're going to do all these now so you guys can spend time with your families. Okay, I probably get that, but that's a lot of shows that are already filmed, that are already taped.
Yeah, and I mean, I've done my best to try to avoid whatever spoilers, because, I mean, you know me, I've said many a time, I don't like spoilers. I don't like knowing what's going to happen before it happens.
Yeah.
That's why, if I could never be a prognosticator in actual life, because I'd hate it. I'd be like, well, why do I have to watch it if I already know what's going to happen?
Right. Don't you feel that it's confusing, too? If you look at the Thanksgiving episode, and what was it, not this week, but the following week before this week, there was a guy with a rooster thing in his head, okay? And he was in a crowd at one point in the front row, okay, in one certain spot. Then, in another commercial break, they come back from break, he's sitting in another spot. It's the same guy and the same thing, but now he's being moved because they're filming things in different days.
Well, I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, you go back to the days of WWF Superstars. I mean, they would tape 3 or 4 shows in one arena and on one date. I mean, that's going back 20, 25 years ago. Even the early days of Monday Night Raw, they would have one episode live and then tape the next 2 weeks immediately afterward.
But isn't it confusing to you, like, on this, when you're watching, like, not that you look at the crowd constantly, but you see certain things that, wait a minute, this is weird. Like this person was sitting in the spot an hour ago, and now he's sitting in another spot.
I don't know. That is either a level of distraction or a level of observation that goes beyond anything that I'm doing, which shows that the in-ring product must be that bad that you're looking at certain individuals in the crowd.
It is that bad. I stomached it only for about 15 minutes on Thursday. That I decided to flip it to the Miami-Chicago game on TNT. I'm like, this is nuts. I've had enough.
You've picked basketball over Impact.
Oh yeah, I'm a big NBA junkie anyway. I like it anyway, but I figure I'd rather watch that game.
I'll let you know what you missed here. We've got our finals for the TNA title tournament. Jeff Hardy beat Bobby Roode in the tables match, and then Magnus beating Kurt Angle in the last man standing match. So if you haven't read the spoilers, that's your matchup. Jeff Hardy against Magnus in a yet to be determined, if you haven't read the spoilers, type match for the vacant TNA World Heavyweight Championship.
And is Sting going to be, obviously Sting is staying, we know that, right? Obviously he's staying still at TNA until something happens with the sale going on. There is a sale going on.
I was going to say, please don't start the Sting Undertaker, please don't.
No,
good.
I'm saying about, Hall of Fame and everything, because what they could do is, when Triple H was mentioning all the people who held the World Heavyweight title, he mentioned Flair, he mentioned a few other guys, he didn't mention Sting. That'd be a good way to, to bring Sting in and say, hey, you forgot one guy.
That's a bit of a stretch. I don't think people are going to remember that, although what sat in my mind was when he talked about the World Heavyweight Championship, he lumped Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker in there.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, it's like, all right, Harley Race I get, Ric Flair, obviously, and then you go Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker?
I know, that was kind of weird.
I mean, there weren't other notable, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you had to mention Triple H, because that's what this all revolves around.
Narcissism.
And nothing having to do with Lex Luger and 4 girls wearing silver skimpy outfits. And that's enough WrestleMania 9 memories.
So do you think that both guys are going to get each title, or you don't think it's going to be actually a unification match? You think they're going to switch titles?
Well, they're guaranteeing one person will leave as champion.
I think this would be the good time to, bring in a new title belt, but they already did that with the WWE Championship last year.
They did that in February. Yeah. So, I was going to say, it's been less than a year. I don't think they're going to change the lineage of it, or at least the look of it again. At least I would hope not.
At least I want to know.
We know about guarantees in wrestling, you know what I mean?
They're one of the few things that actually stick, though, unless it's retirements.
What I want to know, though, are they going to? What I'm saying, though, is are they going to do the same thing like they did with the tag team titles, where they had 2 different title championships and then they turned it into one? Or are they going to do Are they going to keep the belts? How are they going to do this? Will they pull Kurt Angle? One loses one, he loses one, then he loses the other. How?
Oh, when he was the Eurocontinental champion?
Yeah.
That's an excellent question. Anyway, Dan, thanks so much for the call. I'm up against it. We got the lines all full up here. Let's
I'm glad we cleared the air a little bit, though.
Yeah, most certainly. I'm sure the Benoit family appreciates it. Thanks so much for the call. Let's go ahead and we'll bring George from Falsington up here on line 33 there. George, what's going on? Thanks so much for your patience.
No problem. I just got a quick question for you. What is going on with The Undertaker? Is he coming back, or is he just going to be wrestling in WrestleMania matches anymore?
Well, at this point in his career, I mean, The Undertaker, he's, 48? He'll be 49 by the time WrestleMania 30 rolls around. At this point, he is a once-a-year, maybe a couple of times a year at most attraction. But, yeah, I mean, given the wear and tear on his body over the course of really the last 25 years... he's gearing himself up. It's kind of one of those deals like a pro athlete in the twilight of his career. Do I have what it takes to come back one more time? Only not every player gets to skip the whole season and go right to the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Stanley Cup, what have you.
Okay, well, that's all I wanted to ask. And you and your family have a very Merry Christmas, okay?
Thank you. You do the same, George. Appreciate the phone call. Yeah, with The Undertaker, it's always, at this point, it looks like he's a go, but I mean, anything could be possible. His wife, Michelle McCool, may have something to say about it. Who knows? But I guess given the payday that's involved. Yeah, you didn't know that?
Lucky?
Yeah, well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and in his case, he's got both going on.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take care of our second time out here. We'll get to Ed on the other side. And we'll also talk Slammies. We've got news and notes. Still a ton to do here. Plus, actually, we'll get this out of the way first. I'd mentioned heading out of the break, along with all the other Thanksgiving things, we now have Vomit. And this was something I didn't talk about last week because I didn't want to. But since WWE rehashed it and since that's what they find to be funny, here it is, courtesy of Titus O'Neil. Yeah, from...
I can't believe they're actually having us talk about this, but we are going to bring WWE fans back to this past Friday night on SmackDown. It was the Thanksgiving edition, and it was my birthday. Vicky Guerrero put Titus O'Neil and Great Khali into this Thanksgiving food eating contest. Titus O'Neil consumed a ton of food over about a 15-minute span, and then Vicky told Titus, guess what? You have to have a match against Antonio Cesaro, and he needed a new hat. I needed a new suit. It was one of the most disgusting things I was ever involved in. Antonio Cesaro now gets set to go one-on-one with Titus O'Neil, who of course won the food eating contest moments ago. One thing you don't want to do is compete on a full stomach, I can tell you that. This is cruel and unusual punishment. This is hard to watch. This man is full of food. Oh, my God. Oh, no. I'm getting sick just looking at this. He doesn't look too good at all. What are you doing? No, Titus. You better stop it, John. Stop it. Oh, God. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I'm going to get sick. Oh, my God. No, get away from me.
So the Cesaro swing on Titus O'Neil now gives you the primetime pukers as opposed to the primetime players. Please don't let this be a regular thing. Just please. That's all I've got to say. Yeah. All right, we'll be back. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, December 7th. On this date in 1988, the NWA held its Clash of the Champions 4 Seasons Beatings Supercard. In the main event, Barry Windham and Ric Flair defeated Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane in a tag team match. On this date in 1997, the WWF held its In Your House to Generation X pay-per-view. In the main event, Ken Shamrock defeated Shawn Michaels by disqualification in a match for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 2008, TNA held its Final Resolution pay-per-view. In the main event, Sting, Booker T, Kevin Nash, and Scott Steiner defeated AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Brother Ray, and Brother Devon in an 8-man tag team match for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This has been Today in Wrestling History, December 7. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Yes, you did hear that right. An 8-man tag team match for the World Heavyweight Championship, only in TNA. Would they do something so seemingly absurd?
So how is this going to work then?
Well, how it worked was whoever made the pinfall was the champion. So Sting ended up pinning, I forget who it was at Final Resolution, but ended up retaining the title that way. That was the main event Mafia against the TNA Frontline at the time.
That's kind of odd because even your teammate might try to sabotage you, I would think.
Well, I mean, they were part of a faction at the time, so they were all about keeping the title on Sting. But there was some potential dissension there.
Well,
I mean, when you have egos like Booker T and Kevin Nash,
yeah, right.
It was definitely sort of. I would think it's also like the Nexus when they had that tag team, not like the Battle Royale for like when Boyd Barrett was gonna. He made all the Nexus just step out of the ring. He made John Cena step out of the ring. It was like, so he's the leader. He gets the score. Nobody gets a share, sort of thing like that.
Exactly. And speak of Wade Barrett, we had a Wade Barrett sighting this past week. We'll get into that in a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and we'll get to Ed, who's been hanging on. Ed, what's going on?
Good afternoon. We have CCW Cage of Death coming to the skate zone next weekend.
Okay, the Flyer Skate Zone over in Voorhees, yes.
Voorhees, yes. Chris Hero, Blackout, and Matt Tremont on that show.
Oh, okay.
And they have a 4 p.m. Q&A session.
Oh, that should be interesting. I know Chris Hero's been in high demand, and I've interviewed Matt Tremont along with RC over on Completely Damaged Radio. You can check that out at completelydamaged.com.
Collecting toys, I think.
Ah, yes, the Toys for Tots. That's going on everywhere, including here at BCB. We've got a couple of remotes coming up over the course of this week where you can donate toys for the Toys for Tots campaign.
And I'm setting up a fundraiser. More information probably in the next couple weeks.
Okay, this is a post-holiday fundraiser then. Got it.
Yeah. After the holidays.
Yeah, exactly. Give people's bank accounts and credit card statements a chance to recover. Good idea. I know mine's hurting.
And Eddie Guerrero was 8 years ago. Passed away 8 years ago. That time flies.
Yeah, that's right. That was 2005. There's a lot of things that make you go, wow, that happened that long ago. I mean, I vividly remember sitting down for the In Your House Degeneration X pay-per-view, and I realized, oh, wow, that was 16 years ago. The intern kid here wasn't even born yet.
It would have 97.
Yeah, December of 97. You were barely a twinkle in your parents' eye, as that old expression goes.
Wasn't even thought of yet.
Yikes.
We were thought of. They were just practicing up.
Okay, that's too far.
No, it isn't. It's where they practice up.
I'm joking, but like...
So was I.
This is not a time where Iverson should be talking about practice. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
All right. Thanks so much for the call, Ed. Always appreciate the look at the local scene. Ed from Northeast Philly. Let's talk Slammies before Lucas puts me in a headlock here by the end of the show. All right, so that's what WWE is going to be focusing on and not so much promoting the pay-per-view that's coming up in 8 days. So they've got 12 different categories, and so far they've announced 8 of the categories' presenters and nominees, and they'll be announcing more of them over the course of the next day and a half on WWE.com, as well as the WWE app. What I'm wondering is, to take a line from me and Gene Okerlund, does Vince McMahon have the nerve to do this whole award show and not have any wrestling on the 3-hour show?
Have they done that in the past though? Like, have they? There have been matches. There have been matches. There'll probably be it's sort of like a Rumble, like 1 or 2, maybe 3 matches, and then like the big event, sort of.
But I don't know, 12 awards, 12 quarter hours, plus all the commercial breaks that they take. There is at least
15 minutes for one presentation of an award.
Well, you got to figure there's commercial breaks involved. There's, they're gonna. You would think they're gonna hype the pay-per-view at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, you've got to have an entrance for whoever the presenter is. You've got to have, the individual who wins the award or group that wins the award come out. You've got their various speeches. So, I mean, there's at least a possibility. And let me tell you what they've got so far here. They have yet to announce the "This is awesome" moment of the year, the trending now hashtag of the year, the beard of the year, which, how is that not going to go to Daniel Bryan?
Sandow might come out and be like, "This is absurd."
Yeah, Sandow does have a pretty nice beard. And breakout star of the year. So those are the 4 that they still have to announce. Here's what they've announced as far as the presenters and the nominees. You've got fan participation of the year, presented by the Primetime Players. And oddly enough, the Millions of Dollars dance is not one of the nominees.
Oh.
But you've got What's Up with R-Truth. That's probably going to be dead last in the... and then you've got the 3 actual possibilities. The Let's Go Cena Sucks chants, which have gone back and forth for definitely more than this year. The Daniel Bryan Yes chants, which I think is probably the odds-on favorite, and Fandangoing, which became the trend right after WrestleMania.
Okay, I'm going to stop now.
Yeah, I think everybody else has a few months ago. But I think as far as consistency, yes is going to win that one. Extreme Moment of the Year, presented by Mick Foley. So Mick Foley's going to be on Raw this coming Monday. That's going to be intriguing. You've got the Wyatts crushing Kane at SummerSlam, CM Punk exacting revenge on Paul Heyman at Hell in a Cell. That certainly was brutal. Ryback spearing John Cena through the LED light board at Extreme Rules. And the Shield triple power bombing The Undertaker on SmackDown.
What about Cena AAing Ryback through the ambulance roof at Payback? That was pretty extreme.
That did not... Maybe you can make that a write-in candidate. I don't know. Or a text in or tweet in, or I don't know. I guess not enough people sent that in as a possibility. Now, WWE, we know they're all about comedy. The LOL moment of the year, presented by the New Age Outlaws, the Road Dogg Jesse James, and that BADDA double crooked letter Billy Gunn. You've got the Rock concert at the 20th anniversary of Raw. I think, isn't that where he covered Eric Clapton's Wonderful Tonight?
Who?
On Vicky Guerrero, only with a few augmentation of the lyrics.
Who?
You look horrible tonight.
Who did?
The Rock did, during the Rock concert.
That's good.
I would attempt to sing it, but I'd nowhere near have the vocal cords that The Rock does.
I do, but the same point, I don't know the song, so I didn't see that. I didn't.
All right, I'll have to I'll pull that up for you before you're rolling out of here today. You've also got Vicky Guerrero fired as Raw GM.
Oh, I want to see that win. That was
And the most recently, and you heard a bit of it here, Titus O'Neil throwing up on JBL, Michael Cole, and Zeb Coulter, a late entry into the field. And something that I played about a month ago here on the program in complete disgust, the Great Khali and Jinder Mahal trying to charm Santino's Cobra on SmackDown. That just sounds wrong in so many ways. We're going to move on. Insult of the Year, presented by The Miz. Stephanie McMahon insulting The Big Show. Paul Heyman's insults towards CM Punk. Zeb Coulter's insults. And my personal favorite, AJ going off on Total Divas.
Oh, I hope she wins that one, because that was actually a good pipe bomb.
That was. I mean, we were talking about that for a while. Fortunately, none of our insults toward each other made the cut.
We don't have insults. We're all friends here. ELE, like semi-pro. Everybody love everybody.
Something like that. All right, match of the year. Definitely some debate on this one. The Undertaker against CM Punk from WrestleMania 29. Bret Hart will be presenting this, by the way. So Bret the Hitman Hart and Mick Foley on this Monday's Raw, so that's already intriguing. John Cena against The Rock from WrestleMania 29. Triple H against Brock Lesnar from Extreme Rules, and Cody Rhodes and Goldust against Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns from Battleground.
Yeah, but what about... what really ticked me off was there was no... Lesnar and Punk
from SummerSlam.
Yeah, that was a great match. And everybody was saying that was a match of the year candidate. That had to be.
As was Cena and Bryan from that kind of surprised me too. But I guess they didn't want Daniel Bryan to be a nominee or candidate for every award.
He was a nominee for almost every. Like, how many was he?
Oh, I'll go through the count in a little bit here, but he's definitely mentioned in quite a few. I don't know. As far as the Battleground one, if a match happens and hardly anybody buys the pay-per-view to see it, did it actually happen? It's like the whole if a tree falls in the woods type deal.
Yeah, I'd say it still makes a sound, just nobody's around to hear it.
Exactly.
Everything makes a sound, at least, except for the wind, to be honest. Never mind.
This is getting very existentialist or something.
Yeah.
Moving on. The Double Cross of the Year, presented by The Shield. Paul Heyman betraying CM Punk at Money in the Bank. We talked about that a lot off air. Triple H pedigreeing Daniel Bryan, allowing Randy Orton to win the WWE title at SummerSlam. That's probably going to win. Shawn Michaels super kicking Daniel Bryan at Hell in a Cell. And the one that I hope wins, Mark Henry faking his retirement before attacking John Cena.
No, not Mae Young, you dummy.
That's the first thing that jumps in my head out of that, too, sadly enough. And then finally, two other categories. The Diva of the Year, presented by Eve, who's making a return, Eve Torres. Your nominees are Ava Marie, Caitlyn, Natalya. For some reason, I guess they can make it Divas of the Year because you've got the Funkadactyls paired together,
and the Bella Twins.
As well as the Bella Twins, and my odds-on favorite, AJ Lee.
Oh, definitely.
That's exactly what I expected from you.
Nerds unite, she's nominated.
And finally, Superstar of the Year, presented by the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. You've got Brock Lesnar, The Big Show, CM Punk, Randy Orton, John Cena, and Daniel Bryan.
I actually hope Bryan wins, so there's like another sort of like face-to-face between him and Shawn Michaels. I want Cena to win, but I also want to see Bryan and Michaels sort of like face off.
Interact after the fact, since the last time we saw them in the ring together, there was, I believe, a running knee hit on Michaels.
Also a yes lock or no lock or whatever you call it, label lock.
The yes lock, I think, is where it's at this point.
He's changed that 3 times. The label lock to the no lock to the yes lock, or other way around.
It's gone back and forth depending on his yes, no, and otherwise.
Yeah.
All right, we have just enough time for some quick news and notes here. A WWE Hall of Famer going under the knife. WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan underwent successful shoulder surgery yesterday morning. Duggan tweeting, "All went good, more damage than they thought, but all fixed. Now recovery time." Here's to a speedy recovery, tough guy. Oh, yeah, exactly. You knew that was coming. Also, in some not-so-good news, Raw rating, well, it hits the lowest of 2013. This past Monday's WWE Raw earned a 2.65 rating, down from the 2.93 rating last week, averaging about 3.5 million viewers, down from the 4.1 million viewers last week, tying it for the lowest rating in 2013 back on October 7th, the night after the dreaded Battleground pay-per-view. And Stephanie McMahon selling more WWE stock. She sold another 96,000 plus shares of stock for a total of $1.4 million thus far in December, according to a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission.
So wait, I can buy stock on WWE?
Yeah, if you got the money for it.
I can't wait.
I think it's at like $14 a share.
That's not that bad, actually.
Well, Stephanie sold 96,000 shares to get herself a good, 1.4 mil. She owns almost 52,000 shares of stock, valued at a little over $750,000. The reason she's selling all the stock, she and Triple H are buying a house, or building a house, I should say. As much stock as she sold, though, it looks like it's more like a McMansion. But that's it for us. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Stay tuned. Nick Cataldi's got country here on Pro Wrestling, here on WBCB. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly.